Hello, welcome back to It's Us Again with Felicia and Jen, and this is the episode you've all been waiting for, Taylor on Taylor Part 2.
I'm back.
Taylor, I really think that the first one we did, that actually I think has the most listens. It does has the most listens and downloads is Taylor on Taylor Part 1.
We may as well just get an invite from Jimmy Fallon now.
So, yes, definitely.
Exactly.
So today, like we told you in the last episode, that today we're talking about the men in Taylor's life. And who best to ask? Not Taylor herself, but the other Taylor.
Well, that would be the best person to ask.
But I don't know her number, sorry. So what's going to happen today is Taylor is going to go over some of Taylor's songs, and then Jen and I are trying to guess what guy was she talking about in this song. So Taylor, it's on you. Take it away.
Okay, so number one on my list, when you guys asked for a list of Taylor Swift songs, the first song to me that always comes to mind for Taylor Swift, it's a huge song, is All Too Well. All Too Well is from the Red era. It was back in like 2012-ish. That was her first album before she went pop. This song in particular was never a single. It kind of was like under the radar on the album. The fans loved it. So the fans kept pushing it and made it more and more popular. Taylor in interviews would say that it actually started out as a 10-minute long song that her producers and everything wouldn't approve, so she had to cut it. So it ended up going on the album as a 5-minute song, but it always existed like in the Taylor Swift lore as like oh my gosh, it's 10 minutes long and we'll never hear it. When she started re-recording her albums, she gave us a 10-minute version. And so we got all of this new information about this relationship that was really devastating for her. I don't know how old she was really at the time, but this song is kind of like her big one. This song is about a relationship of someone who is older than her, who does not treat her the best, kind of talks down to her, belittles her a little bit, clearly wants to be with her because she's young and cute and popular, but does not have the respect for her and is kind of gross. So I will open up to you to guess.
I know the answer to this question, so I'm going to let you guess.
So older, I'm thinking either John Mayer or I don't remember his name. What's his name? Jake Gyllenhaal. Is it one of them?
Yes, it is. You have to guess which one.
I mean, I can't think of Jake treating anyone bad, so I'm going to say John.
It's actually Jake.
What?
Jake.
Oh, I can't. Wasn't he Spider-Man? Was he Spider-Man?
He was in the Spider-Man. Yeah.
I can't watch him anymore now.
Yeah. He kind of ruined it.
Oh.
But
Jake.
That one, yeah. That one is about Jake Gyllenhaal. They were together, I want to say, for like a year or so. But they got together and he thought that she was all that, but in the song they talk about being at like dinner parties with all of his friends and he like won't hold her hand. He throws the keys at her in the car because he gets a call from friends and doesn't want to acknowledge her. So she becomes his like dirty little secret. And that's kind of what this song is about, is, you know, he basically gaslighting her into saying, like, we were never that serious. It was all in your head. You know, I'm famous and you're just this little artist. Kind of going through that whole experience. And then him eventually breaking it off. We learned in the song, said that he was going to be at her birthday and he never showed up. So there's like a whole lore and different songs where it connects to that moment, where he basically just let her down over and over and over again.
Wow.
We don't like to.
Now, can't watch any more of his movies?
No,
Okay.
we've moved on from him.
All right, what's the next song?
So
The next
actually,
is intriguing.
I'm going to go off script.
Okay.
Because this one is not in the list, but we have to talk about John Mayer.
Yes,
he
let's
was
talk
just
about
brought
John
up.
Mayer.
So we will talk about John Mayer. The biggest one for him, that is the most obvious, is she has a song, Dear John. So I can't really avoid that one. You can't really guess that one because it's literally Dear John. But Dear John and John Mayer are similar-ish to Jake Gyllenhaal in that Taylor has kind of a history when she was younger and in her country era of being taken advantage of from older artists in the music industry. So she kind of was viewed as this bright and shiny new thing who was super cute and really popular, and older men really took advantage of that. And she didn't know any better. She was barely older than 18. John Mayer is one of the biggest examples of that. They were together, I think, for about a year or two. But she has a song, Dear John, about him. There are hints that other songs are also about him. She has a lot of songs where she talks about older men kind of taking advantage of her and being in relationships and saying, you know, if only I knew now what I know then. She has a song that just came out a couple years ago called Would've, Could've, Should've, where she's kind of like reflecting on this relationship, we think, and being like, all I do is regret you. Like, I regret this all the time. And that's a really powerful song, is Would've, Could've, Should've. So I definitely recommend people listen to that one. It's about this relationship with John Mayer in general, but a lot of people resonate with that song, the way that she talks about it in terms of like overcoming their own personal traumas. People come at it with like different kinds of abuse that they've gone through and said that that song's really helpful for them. So that's like one of her most powerful songs, actually, and that's about John Mayer. So, boo John Mayer.
Boo.
Yeah, boo.
Boo.
Which sucks. I kind of like John Mayer.
I really don't. I don't know too many of the songs.
I like some of it. Not all of it, just some of it.
I never liked his music in general anyway, so this didn't help him.
No.
He's 0 in my books.
I am learning so much.
See? There's so much knowledge.
Right?
I feel like I have to like pare it down.
All of these men by the time
all of them. Here. There's only like a handful.
We can't hate the current one. But we can hate the rest of them.
This is that one.
Well, no, current one, yeah.
Yeah, we can't hate him, but we can hate the rest.
Alrighty.
All right, on to the next song.
Yes, our next song is called Is It Over Now? It is a newer song that has come out, but it is actually an old song. So this kind of introduces the idea in the Taylor Swift's universe of what we call vault songs. So a few years ago, Taylor lost the masters to her music. It was sold out from under her without any notice. She found out when the whole world did. And basically, she did not own the original recordings of her music.
Oh, that's awesome.
She still owns the lyrics and the melodies, but she does not make money off of the original ones that were created and that are out there. So her way around that to kind of take back her music, her own property, was to re-record all of her albums up until that point.
Oh, wow.
Smart, right?
Yes.
That is very smart.
Yes, it is absolutely genius, and it has been so fun since it started a few years ago to get to kind of relive all of those albums. So Is It Over Now comes from the re-recording of her album 1989, which was her first dip into the pop world. Is It Over Now is an extension of some other songs on the original 1989 about a relationship she was in, I think around like 2012-ish. A lot of my favorite parts are from this era. But in a relationship that she was in about 2012 with a guy who was kind of just like a playboy. Like, he didn't really take it seriously. From the songs that we get from her, she was all in. She loved him, wanted to be with him, but kind of always knew that maybe it wasn't meant to last and it wasn't always going to be what she wanted.
I have a guess. I can narrow it down to two.
How about this guy right here?
It's Harry Styles.
Harry Styles. So who's about?
Right, that's Felicia's guess. Who's Jen?
I mean, if she says Harry Styles, I'd probably say Joe Jonas.
It is Harry Styles.
See, that was my first guess, but I wanted to get...
Yes.
Okay.
So, the songs about Harry are not the best. I am personally a huge Harry Styles
I like
fan.
Harry Styles.
Yes, he has great music. I am a huge fan. As we discussed, I was hugely into One Direction. So, I still have a love for Harry Styles. As a fandom, we do not hate Harry Styles.
Good.
They have since reconnected. They are friends. They are cordial as far as we know. They both kind of acknowledge, he has songs about her that we think too. So they've kind of written about each other. They really inspire each other. And so they kind of have made peace with it of like, you know what? We were young. We were dumb. It happened. Like, it was fun while it lasted, and that's that. So I enjoy that song because I love Harry Styles. And even though the songs on 1989 don't talk about him the best, we still can have appreciation for him. Yeah. So we don't have to hate Harry Styles.
All right, Harry.
Okay. The next one I will talk about is For Selfish Reasons. One of my favorite songs of hers is called Gold Rush. It is on her Evermore album, which came out in 2020. This song is basically explaining how she is really into somebody, but everybody's obsessed with them. So she's like, I don't want a gold rush where it's like, I'm going and I'm after you, but so is the rest of the world. So this song is her kind of putting this person up on a really high pedestal of being like, I really want you, everybody else wants you, but I can't help it.
It's either Taylor Lautner or Joe Jonas.
I say Taylor Lautner.
Because if they were dating when Twilight was out, then
they're both Taylor Lautner, right? Joe Jonas was popular too, but I feel like Taylor Lautner.
Taylor Lautner.
Yeah. You would think it would be someone popular. It is the least popular person she probably dated, which makes it kind of funny.
Was it the Kennedy?
No, actually, okay. I guess we give Kennedy. He was pretty unpopular, but no.
I don't.
Oh my goodness! Well, I'm just throwing.
Maddie?
No, he's got his own family.
He's kind of newer though.
How about Calvin?
No, he's got his own.
Okay, Loki. Tom Middleton.
Actually, Joe Alwyn.
Oh,
what?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I feel like if there was dates attached to some of these songs, I would probably guess it a little better.
Yeah.
Because he's fairly new.
He's pretty new.
What does he do?
He's an actor.
Yeah.
He's not in a ton of stuff. When they started dating, like anyone who was a fan of her had no idea who he was. But she was obsessed with him. He was like the greatest thing ever. I chose that song, not necessarily because it's about Joe, but because when I saw Taylor Swift, and she does 2 surprise songs, one's on the guitar and one's on the piano, that was the song that she chose for my show on the guitar. And that was it was my favorite song from the album. I saw her in Philly, and one of the lines in the song says, "Your Eagles t-shirt hanging from the door." And so I was holding out hope. I was like, she has to sing that song in Philly, and she did. So that was for purely selfish reasons.
How do we feel about Joe?
Do
we like Joe?
I still don't know who he is.
So that's her longest relationship that we know of. They were together for between like 6 and 7 years.
Oh, wow.
And they just split up last year, like last May.
I watched a couple things with him in it.
I think he's an okay actor.
I have to go look for something now.
There is a song that we'll go into in a little bit that kind of talks about maybe why we wouldn't love him. But we really don't know any much because their relationship was very, very private. And majority of the songs we got from that relationship that we know are about that relationship are just them being so in love. I mean, she has an album and a song called Lover, and it's all about him. So they were very, very in love.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Intriguing.
You know what? All I have to say is Taylor's love life was very interesting.
Yes.
I feel like my love life is kind of
what am I going to write?
Sad.
Yeah, it's like...
what am I going to write about?
What am I going to write about?
Giving you eyes across the Walmart section.
You know,
what would my love song look like?
We're trying to have a date and the kids keep talking, you know? It's like, I don't know.
Are we going to argue over we have an Applebee's or McDonald's tonight?
I will say she's very clever that she's able to put the relationships into a song. I know I would be able to do that.
Yeah, I don't know how she's been in the industry for this long, and there's new ways to still talk about a lot of the same things that have happened, like cheating or being cheated on or the relationship just falling apart. It sounds like there's only a few categories of how a relationship can go down, but she's had like a dozen relationships, and every song is somehow different. I'm like, how? I don't understand.
Artist that I seen on TV was talking about that she writes very specific songs. Mm-hmm. So I guess when you do that, you have a lot to write about. Like other songs, the writers are pretty vague about their love and stuff like that. But she writes so, like her lyrics are so
10 minutes
specific.
Worth of details.
Right, and like probably, a 10-minute song on a 5-month relationship. You know, her songs and topics are endless, I guess.
There is actually, I want to say NYU, I might be wrong, but there are professors, and I'm sure there's more than one now, but it was a big deal a few years ago where there was a professor at a college who created a Taylor Swift course, and it was like they had listed it under English and literature, where they basically annotated her songs and like the meaning behind them, because some songs like All Too Well and a few others, or many of them, you can literally go by line and annotate it and figure out like 5 different meanings of what it could mean. Like one big song, like the one for John Mayer, the Would've, Could've, Should've, it's about a relationship. It can also be about trauma. It can be about abuse. It can be about like a million different things. So people have created classes on breaking down her
that's
music.
deep.
Right?
That's why she's a billionaire, y'all. That is why she's a billionaire.
Okay, another one that I have is not necessarily about a relationship, but there are some relationship aspects. So the next one we'll talk about is Mastermind, which came out on the Midnight's album a few years ago. This song is about a relationship, but also about her career as a whole, where she talks about how I am a mastermind when it comes to putting the puzzle pieces together, which is something that she gets criticized for a lot in the media, is using the word like manipulative and just kind of nasty words like that. But she's kind of reclaiming and be like, no, I'm a mastermind. She always is giving Easter eggs to her fans on things to come later. And like you can literally go through history and be like, oh my gosh, this connected to this and this years in advance. And maybe we're all a little bit crazy. But some of it's also true. The Mastermind song kind of connects that aspect of her career as a whole to this specific relationship, where she's saying, you know, you saw me from across the room and everything seemed normal, but all along I was planting the seeds for us to get together because I was so into you and I just wanted us to be together so badly. So that's kind of where that song goes.
And it's no one we picked yet.
Maybe not.
Oh, so we can still go back and pick.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily. We could maybe go back.
Yeah,
Oh.
we have to bring them all out.
The
It's
rules
not a
are
one and
changing.
done. I feel like Harry Styles. I mean, that's the one that was.
You think she would mastermind for Harry Styles?
I don't know.
I would mastermind for Harry
I
Styles.
would, but
Sorry,
maybe Harry doesn't need to be masterminded.
Maybe she masterminded for Taylor Lautner.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say Taylor
No,
Lautner.
these are a lot more difficult than I expected them to be.
I'm gonna say Taylor Lautner.
Could it be?
Could it be? Could it be?
Gyllenhaal? No, he swooped right in. What are you talking about? She had no idea what she was getting into. Oh, I don't know. Joe.
It is Joe. You're right.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you.
It's another song where, as a fandom, we get kind of confused because a lot of us didn't understand the appeal of Joe Alwyn when they started dating. But yeah, they apparently met out at an event, and she was obsessed with him, and she would have done anything to be with him. And this song is kind of like, I am in there moving little pieces around. You think this is all just happening so effortlessly, and it's just we're easily falling in love. But really, I knew exactly what I was doing the whole time.
Sneaky Taylor.
Yeah. So that one was very fun.
Interesting.
The next one is not fun. It is very sad. So we're going to change the energy. It's called You're Losing Me. This song is absolutely devastating. It is also a vault song from the Midnight's era. So this one came out after Midnight's was released. She had released this one. This one describes the breakdown of a relationship, of basically how just realizing that it's not as strong as it once was, and kind of all of the pieces that are falling apart over time.
I mean, I would think it'd be the one she was with the longest.
That's what I thought too, but if you're going back, they weren't together around that time.
Oh.
Right? Because that was my first thought when I heard the song, that it would have been Joe. Because didn't he kind of just drift away?
Well, Midnight's came out in, I think, 2021.
Oh. This is Joe.
The You're Losing Me song came out like a year later, or maybe it was 2 years later.
So it has to be the Joe guy, because that was the longest.
Yeah, my guess is Joe.
Yeah, let's go with the Joe A guy.
It is Joe. Although I will say a lot of times Taylor likes to go back into her life and kind of rediscover and reanalyze previous relationships. So what she's writing about now, we think it's so obviously about one person, and really she could be writing about someone from like a decade ago, which has kind of been the case now that she's been re-recording. She's getting to relive all those old albums. So she's coming out with songs like the Would've, Could've, Should've song is from a very new album, but it's about something that happened a decade ago, because she's going through re-recording those songs and getting to relive it. And she's like, actually, I have more to say. So yes, You're Losing Me is about Joe. It is a very sad song of basically how, from the perspective of what she's saying about, is how over time he just stopped paying attention to her. One thing that the fans think was hurtful for their relationship was that Joe never really liked her fame. And if you're with Taylor Swift, fame is absolutely unavoidable. I mean, she's Taylor Swift. They got together when her reputation was going down. So when everything with Kanye had fired up in like 2016, 2017, things had gotten really bad with that, and she was canceled. She went into hiding for a year. No one had seen her for a year. That's when they got together. So he kind of became her person when no one wanted anything to do with her. So for a long time, and then COVID hit, they were in isolation. Their relationship was very, very private. And now that she's coming back out and she's doing incredible albums and tours and she's getting back out there, we think that's kind of where the breakdown of their relationship happened, is because that was never a part that he really had to deal with. And now that she's, you know, bejeweled and I'm having so much fun and this is exactly what I was born to do and falling in love with it all over again, we think that's kind of where they drifted apart.
Some people can't handle in a relationship. Sometimes one person can't handle if another person is, you know, acknowledged or is famous or is getting a lot of attention. Some people just can't handle that.
And she has a song called Peace on an album that came out in 2020 when they were still together, which we now think was actually about the decline of their relationship, which then we thought they were completely perfectly fine. But when that song came out a year or two before they broke up, the song's called Peace, and it's basically about, like, what if I can never give you peace? Like, you're never going to be happy with what I have to offer. You're always going to want either more or less than what I am, and what if I can't do anything to fix it? And given what we learn in You're Losing Me, we think it's actually about Joe and not a previous relationship, because that's kind of what we think was their biggest issue.
Wow.
Yeah. So with every new song, you get to listen to the previous songs and be like, wait a second, actually, that might be about something completely different. So that's really fun.
Wow. I'm just amazed at all your knowledge.
And I forgot my notes today. This is just me and my expertise.
I was like, she really knows her stuff. Wow.
So I will end on a happier note. I will bring us back to good energy. The next song came out on the album that came out this year, back in April. It is called The Alchemy. This song, I had no idea what the alchemy was. It's a word that I don't know what it means. But basically actually now I'm forgetting what it means. Anyway, the song is about a relationship where it's like we were always meant to be. This was always what was supposed to happen. How could we deny what is happening here? When anything else could be happening in our careers or whatever else is happening, we still have what's going on here, and we can't ignore that. That's kind of what that's.
I mean, it has to be Travis, right? That's what she's with.
They were together then.
Oh, that's right. They were together. Has it been a year since they've been together?
They've been together a year.
They've been together a year.
This song came out April of this year.
Then it has to be about Joe. Everything's about Joe.
But if they've been together a year,
I mean, if he was dating when that song
came
out,
then it has to be Travis.
It is about Travis.
Oh wow!
Which is very impressive, because they would have been together for mere months when she recorded this song, and she was already writing about how, you know, it's you and me, and that's it. And this song is kind of like a huge declaration of love, of saying it's you and me until the end. Wow. Which is really huge.
He didn't run. Usually that makes guys run.
Yeah. Maybe he felt the same way.
And the hugest part, I remember listening to the song for the first time because we were really excited. It was kind of a newer relationship, and I was listening to the album with all my friends, and the song literally has football references. So if you had any doubt...
I think alchemy is the mixture of, like, elements. Like,
it's also that. Yeah. It has a couple different meanings.
So there's another meaning that's not that? Okay.
Yeah. No, there's two different meanings. But, like, in The Alchemy, she talks about, like, these blokes warmed the benches. We've been on the winning team. She's like, forget all my past relationships. They're nobodies. We're moving on. Wow. And it's all about you and me.
Wow. So this has to work.
I think Travis is the one.
I very much think they could be it. I think they could absolutely also break up in however much time.
And that could create a lot of albums.
Yes. That could,
I think
a whole lot.
What really works for them is kind of what was the opposite of Joe, is that Travis has his own kind of area of fame. He's huge in the NFL. Like, if you're into the NFL, you know Travis. Before Taylor Swift, you knew Travis. So he has his own thing going on, that he's familiar with the world that she is in. It's, of course, to a really different level. But him being with her, he was like, yeah, this just is what it is, and we're just going to figure it out. He's really great with the media. He's really, like, he talks about her well. He doesn't ever, shame her or talk about anything bad. He's very respectful publicly. So he doesn't feel like he has to compete with her fame, because he's like, I got my own thing going on. Yeah. So I think that really works out well for him, where they kind of both have their own fame, their own careers. They're very career driven, but they also are really obsessed with each other from what we can see.
Wow.
And that's where we are today.
That's love. We love Travis.
Yes, we love Travis. What team does he play for?
The Chiefs.
Okay.
I don't like the Chiefs. I root for Travis. I do not root for the Chiefs.
She needs to start training like early on. Like, she's lost.
I'm like, I have no clue.
She is brand
but
new.
you know,
she needs to go back to the country
yes.
and the country songs, and then
yes, because I remember, I just remember her walking on that stage with no shoes on, curly hair, addressing on a guitar. Yeah. That's what I remember from her. Yeah. But she's blowing up. I mean, hey, all the success, and hopefully this is it, because all of this.
Yeah, there are many men left on the table that we have not discussed, but there are songs about pretty much all of them.
But I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, Taylor can always come back.
I have a question for you, Felicia. Are you a Taylor Swift fan now?
I'm an associate.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
Favorite song? Do you have one?
We're never getting back together. That could be a whole bunch of people from my past, but I can name off a few names.
I added 3 songs to my list, so free. I mean, I knew a lot of the songs before going into this. A lot of the stuff's on the radio, but I picked.
I'm just amazed, Taylor, at how much you know. Like, it amazes me with no notes.
No
with
notes.
0 notes.
But you know what? Imagine a younger version of yourself with New Edition and the
internet.
internet.
Please, yes.
You know, house girlfriends, everything bad about them. You would know everything.
Yes, I've seen the New Edition movie twice. Yes. But wow, I'm amazed.
A really fun game I like to play if I get really bored is to test myself sometimes. There are like videos that you can do where it'll play like a 1 or 2 second clip of a song and see if you can guess it. And I'm pretty good at those.
Oh, yeah. I may have to.
Well,
that's pretty
try
fun.
that out.
Yeah, but they probably have it for New Edition.
Oh,
so you should look up 1 second New Edition, please.
Oh, yes. I'm gonna see how big of a fan am I really.
Yeah.
There you go. Do you know all of them?
Do I know all of them? Because there are some songs of theirs I had never heard before off their album. But now that we have the internet, I can get them. But if I couldn't afford the album back in the day, I mean, I just heard what was on the radio.
A lot of singles.
Yeah. Wow. Well, Taylor, we are always happy to have you. You are definitely coming back.
Yes.
There's
so much more.
There's
births,
rumors.
Albums, rumors. Taylor.
Oh, you're coming on here. It'll be a special. We might even have music for that one.
Right?
Special alert.
I get my own jingle.
Yes. But thank you all for listening. I know y'all been waiting for part 2, so it is here. But so just tell your family and friends that they've done Taylor on Taylor part 2. So, but thank you for listening in to It's Us Again with Felicia and Jen. Bye.
Bye.